My apologies.
Oh, you're
Very
good.
God bless you. I owe you. The next time we haven't met yet, but when we do, coffee or lunch is on me. Sorry, Courtney.
Oh, you're
For the
good.
sake of everyone in the future and all those, clones we're making of ourselves, I'm going to ask you to just backtrack a little bit and tell us, about this home that you had owned with someone else. Start there for us.
Yep. So I own the house. So I got my first property on my own, graduated PT school, had my career, all of that as a physical therapist. And I was like, all right, I'm sick of renting. Got my first house, did the whole traditional owner occupy, 3% interest rate. And it's like $1,600 payment. It was like the purchase price was like $345. Even when I was purchasing this house, I was like, this is insanely expensive because I'm actually from the Midwest in Iowa, where you can get a mansion for $350. Like, so when I was in Vegas, I was like, this is nothing. It was like it's like a 1,400 square foot house, nothing crazy. And so anyway, got the loan, got the house and all of that, but had to get out of the relationship that I was in. So we had to refinance the loan. And so it jumped up to 5.5 interest rate. And then the payment was like $2,150 now. And so when I left Vegas, and I left for the reason of no longer living there, physical therapy, I wanted to do a travel physical therapy job assignment. So I took my assignment down in Phoenix, but I needed to keep my house and not, I was very smart about it. I was very into real estate. I was like, I'm not selling this thing. There's no way. Even 5.5 interest rate, that's still good, even though I was really sad about losing my 3%. So I had refinanced it. I had to keep the house in my name. I couldn't put it as an LLC. And I still had to show that I was like paying my mortgage and stuff in my name to still qualify for tax-free stipends as a physical therapist traveling. So I got around it by having roommates, renting by the room. And so after listening to Sam Wingert's podcast, back in early 2022, when he did it with Bigger Pockets, I was so fascinated by the idea of it. I was like, that's the only way I'm going to be able to cash flow on this property. Like, I can't put a single family in that house and still make money. So, cause I think going rate was like in my area was like $2,000 a month for a 3-2 house, 1,400 square foot. I was like, oh no. So I was like, all right, I'm going to risk it. And I wasn't in sub 2. I didn't have any mentors. I did this all on my own, talking to Jonny, and I was like, what do you think about this idea? Like, should I try it out? I always rented rooms, in a house when I was a student. So I got on roomies.com, and I'm sure you guys have heard of that website. Mm-hmm. But got on roomies.com and I posted every room, and I filled those rooms up so fast. Initially, they were all 20, 25-year-olds and then like 30-year-olds. And I was like, okay, I can kind of run with this idea. Like, they were interested right away, because the first room I initially posted about was my master bedroom. And I'll show you guys some pictures after I kind of just give you a little run. Mm-hmm. But it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, and master bed with a bath, and then 2 other bedrooms that are, one's a little bit smaller and then another one's a little bit smaller. So I rented them out for $1,200 for the master bath and everything. And I didn't know anything about pad split. I didn't know about market rent. I didn't know about anything. I was like, I just need to cash flow on this property. So I just set prices based on how much I wanted to take home, minus utilities, minus management, minus all of those things.
So you didn't actually check out what you could get for the rooms. You just work backwards from what you need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Risky, I know, but it's been working out. So
you know what? You didn't want to have to go out of pocket, which is very understandable. So you were trying to make what you need, and you probably might have worried whether that was even going to come to you until, of course, you saw all the applications come in. Then you probably realized, oh, maybe I could have got a little more.
Right. Because the thing is the way I thought about it was like, if you have an apartment complex and you are looking by yourself, you're paying $1,600, $1,800, $2,000 maybe in Vegas at this point, especially for a nice area of town. So I was like, okay, myself, when I had an apartment and I was renting, it was probably anywhere from $600 to $1,000 a month based on like kind of where I was living. And I wanted to target a population that was a little bit more middle class to upper class, because I wanted them to take care of my property, and it's in an HOA. So this is how I kind of got around it as well. I looked into all the HOA laws and or just my association, and they were fine with everything. So kind of just worked backwards, and I was like, $1,200 a month. I did some research as far as roomies too, because there are people on roomies.com, and I searched by roomies, looking for roomies, not looking for rooms.
Right.
So I go to the roomies section, and I'm like, what are these people's budgets? And some people are like $1,500 a month, $1,200 a month, $1,000 a month. And I was like, okay, let me just kind of try it out for my master bedroom, fully furnished. And everything is, you know, the house is fully furnished as well. It's just kind of like co-living, and there's no extra bedrooms. It's a 3-bed house. There's no conversions. Like, they're getting a whole house, and that's it. So I got some feelers from people interested, and especially in the master bedroom. And then I set the second bedroom, that's the largest, for $1,000. And it was actually unfurnished at the time, because I hadn't bought all the furniture. It was an office that I was in the transition period of furnishing it. And one of them reached out and was like, hey, can I get this room for a year? Is it furnished? And I was like, no, it's not furnished yet, but you know, I was planning on furnishing it. She's like, no, actually, I want to bring my own stuff. And I was like, okay.
Awesome.
And so she rented for a year for $1,000 a month. And same thing with the third bedroom. I did 900 the first time around, 900.
Very
and
nice.
Same thing. She rented, well, this person was for 6 months. She was in a weird situation, had to get out of her parents' house. Everything fully furnished as well. And they were all within, I don't know, 5 to 10 years of age. So it worked out. And I was good for about 6 months until I had to refurnish the room. And so I've been posting like probably 2 months out as far as like when the room turnover would happen, and got another one to come in for
Good.
6 months. And then she just renewed for another year. So I'm in this situation where I have the population that wants to pay a little bit more money to just have roommates, I guess, at this point. So it's a little bit
probably
different.
be in a nicer home, right?
Yeah, it is a nicer home. It's not, I mean, it's built in the 1995, I want to say. It's not super remodeled or anything, but it is very clean, and it's decored and things like that. So they're not paying $800 a month to live with 8 other people. They're paying more money to live with 2 other people, so they don't have to live alone. Kind of like your idea of a little bit more higher end, Effie, on how you want to kind of have a situation, less bedrooms, maybe 1-to-1 bathroom situation where they don't have to live with a bunch of people. So that's how I got into it.
Yeah, I think there's so many different varieties of co-living that are available to us. Creativity is the only limiting factor.
Yeah.
And I think that you know, if you're going to go for the upper end, the high end is the real high end is going to want their own bedroom. You know, they're all going to need to be en suite. And it's going to have to be in a nice neighborhood, and it's going to have nice furnishings and things of that sort, and good parking for their nice cars. So it all makes a difference on, you know, what you can offer.
And I allow them to park in the garage and park in the driveway and make themselves at home. Like, everything is furnished, but I allow them to be like, hey, this is your house. Like, I'm not here. Forget about me. And I really make them feel welcome. And I think that they're paying for that, and they like how everything's included. And so it's nice. And I want to do it again. It just depends on how I can find a property that low and still have like a $500 to $600 a month cash flow. It's not insane like pad split. You can have a couple grand, but
actually for some you can. But I understand what you're saying. But before we get to that part, I'm interested in knowing, when you had them set up, did you have it as a year lease, or was it a month to month, or what did you collect the first month, security? How did you do that part? And did you do it as a tenant, or did you do it as a member? Because if you saw Sam, you probably heard the word member.
Yep. Yeah. So they are all separate leases, just regular tenant leases, and they're kind of treated as like my roommate if I were to be living there, kind of thing. So all separate, and I required security deposit. The security deposit was $1,000 each room, except for the smallest room. It was 900. It was equivalent to what they were paying. And I didn't make the 1,200 pay more than that. I made them just do 1,000, and then first month's rent. Whether I prorated it or not, it was just like whatever they were going to move in. So most of them moved in on the 1st or the 15th, and I kind of prorated that. I like to work with them because they are paying a little bit more than, and I've had people turn it down. They're like, it's too expensive for what it is. I found something cheaper. And I'm like, great. I don't care. I have other people interested. It's
yeah. And you want them to be comfortable. You don't want them in your house if they're like, oh my God, how am I going to pay the rent?
Exactly.
So you're right about that. And how much notice did you ask them to give you?
As far as move out? Yeah, so 30 days. And then I have it in the lease explicitly saying that if they were to break the lease, they, like, it depending on where they're at in the month, they obviously, I have everything due on the 1st of the month. So they pay me for that. And then it's 30 days after that. And if it's like a random day, like towards the end of the month, they still owe for the following month.
Okay.
So I had somebody break a lease. She was on for 6 months, and I had somebody break it at 4. Why?
I'm up in the office.
Break it at 4
Kevin,
months.
did you want to ask a question?
Monday night meeting.
Kevin, did you want to ask a question? Okay, I'm just going to mute him. Guys, if you want to ask a question, please just raise your hand. Because then that way we won't have any crosstalk. I think Kevin was on his phone at that moment. Probably my fault that I didn't mute everyone. So
yeah, Kevin was on the phone. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Good to have you here. I appreciate it very much. And I do have one question already, and that is, well, actually two. What are your rules for the sharing the common space? Because are we correct in thinking, Courtney, that you haven't broken down the common space?
Yeah, so I have in my lease that all of the shared areas, like, it's a clause at the end of the lease. It's not like in the lease. I just make them sign a separate document that says, like, this is a shared living space. Like, I don't know what it says explicitly, but like it says something like that, like other roommates will be sharing this space, like feel free to use as much of the entertainment area as you want. And they hang out. The women that I have in there right now are all 55 to like 65. So they're all the same age. And
you went from 20 and 25-year-olds to 50, 55 and 60-year-olds?
Because I had one come in who refilled the first 6-month person, and she was in her 60s. And so it was maybe a month overlap when I had somebody that was younger. And then, like I was getting to, she broke the lease at 4 months, which I was okay with, like, because I was like, I want to just move that young population out and bring into that more middle-aged and older age population, because one, they're going to take really great care of my house, and two, it just seems like they'll stay a little bit longer than those younger ones who want to kind of job to job or move around or whatever. So now they're all the same age, and that's how I market too. So when I'm in on Roomies and I don't have somebody inquiring about my property, I will go and on Roomies and I will message people, like, and I'll be like, hey, I have a room, because on Roomies it says their age, their population, or their age and their budget. So I'm like, hey, this room is in your budget range. There's actually women living in the house already that are of the same age group as you, same interest that you put on your profile, and that's how I've kind of scoped them out from there.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Very
Jared,
unique.
yeah, that's interesting to see how things go. Jared, have you got a question?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, Courtney? I've been talking to Courtney and Jonny for a while. Yeah, so I was curious, two questions. Are you exclusively using Roomies, or are you using like Facebook Marketplace?
So far, I've only used Roomies. I've put feelers out on Facebook Marketplace. No bites. I've used Furnish Finder as well, and I've had people from Furnish Finder want the whole house because they're traveling and things like that. And I even put it up there as rent by the rooms, et cetera, and not as many bites, but exclusively Roomies only. And I've had
That's cool. That's good to know.
7 tenants so far. But to answer someone Carrie's question, self-managing, yes, myself right now. Because I work from home, it's easy. I don't have a property management company doing it or anything. So I'm finding them, I'm vetting them, I'm interviewing them, I'm doing a background check on them. It's super easy because through Furnished Finder, if any of you guys have used that before, they have key check, which I used when I was a travel healthcare provider, and the people that I rented from, they did key check on me, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to use the same platform. And I do the whole background check from there. And right now it's easy because it's just one house and it's 3 rooms and they're on year leases. So when I have somebody come up, it's not a big time commitment or anything. And so, yeah.
And then the second one, where does the lease? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, Jared, go, please.
Oh, there's the real simple one. Your lease that you, where did you get that from?
I have a friend who's an attorney, and I found one online. I think I got like an Arizona lease agreement online I bought, and I had my attorney friend review it, and she was like, yep, everything that you need is in that agreement. And so I went with it, and I haven't had any problems so far.
Gotcha. I'm curious to know how it affected the cash flow.
With which part?
Well, just doing it by the room. What are you getting?
Yeah. So I think it's a 2,100 plus 1,000, 32 plus the 900. So yeah, it was about 32,000. I think is that the math is what or 3,200 a month. And then from there, I would say my utilities, I mean, it depends on the summer months. I will say everything is included except electricity. So I was very smart on this because electricity, my bill in the summer is like $400, $450 sometimes. And then even in the winter, it's just as expensive. So I make them split it 3 ways. They're fine with it. So it's okay. But all other internet, let's see, I don't have cable, water, trash, sewer, gas. And I think, yeah, that's it.
So all utilities except for the
electricity. Yeah.
All right. That's good. That's smart.
And no one batted an eye on it. They're like, okay, I understand. I'm like, hey, it's on your usage. I'm not going to go, $400 a month for 4 months out of the year when you guys are 70 degrees in the house. So I want some ultimate responsibility on that part.
Right.
Yeah. Jared,
right.
See?
Yeah, I agree, Jared. Yep. With the comment.
Oh, you spread it out. I just did that. I just switched to that, but I had to have a year under my belt before they would kick that in.
Okay. Are you thinking on your, sorry, Jared, you have a question?
I was going to say, they told me that too. And I told them, what if I overpay? This is in Arizona as well. So I just closed in August and I said, hey, what if because the bill's like 128, 130 a month. And I said, what if I just pay 200 a month? And they said, sure. So I'm doing that now at 200, overpaying. So it's prepping me for the summer next year.
Oh, okay. That's actually a good idea. This house that I'll talk about briefly too is we're going to, not pad split. We're probably going to self-manage for a little bit because we live here. But
hold on before you get to that, because
we got solar. That's where I was getting with it. We got solar.
But it's good. I want to know, with the one that you have in Vegas, do you think that you'll ever, make more bedrooms?
I can't. It's an HOA. And Johnny has actually brought it up. He's like, why don't you just convert the garage? And I was like, that might be one thing I have looked into, but I'm like, is it worth the headache of just that one property to get? And I know that something will come up with the HOA, and my neighbors probably already think I'm nuts anyway for having 3 people that live there, and they all know it's fine. I asked her, I told them I was doing it and stuff, but I just haven't gone down that rabbit hole. I think, if I wanted to cash flow more, but it's not like I should. I don't know.
Would you like to show it to us? Can you show us the house in Vegas?
Yes.
All right. So hang on. I just want to share permissions.
So let me show I have a couple ones. So let me show the ones when my house was for sale, and then I'll pull up the furnished ones. There's some really nice for sale pictures before I took them.
Yeah, well, that's how they, they want to make sure that they do.
So this is the outside.
Lovely.
And I think someone asked about landscaping. I hire somebody from Upwork. No, not Upwork, Yelp, like a company, and they come every couple months. But actually one of my tenants loves yard work. She's like, I'll go back in the backyard, and because the backyard is completely landscaped. I'll show you a picture of it. And it's turf. So she'll go back there and rake it. I'm like, here we go.
Oh, nice. Gotcha.
So she'll, like, when I went back in June and this was like completely destroyed, like nobody was taking care of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, nobody sent me pictures or anything. So that is one thing that I've like made clear with them. Like, you guys have to communicate if something goes wrong. Like, it's just me here. So, and I had someone come up and clean it up. So this is a picture of the kitchen. This is all white now. It's not brown at all.
Okay.
Another picture of the backyard. This is a picture of the master bath.
Nice.
And I think that's the end of the nicer pictures. There we go. A little bit more. This is the front bedroom that's not furnished, and it's actually still not furnished. I just had somebody move in last month who took place of the other person who had a year lease, wanted it unfurnished. The new tenant that just moved in also wanted it unfurnished, and I was like, win-win. I still don't have to furnish it for another year.
Good.
Same price. So I did put curtains up for her, and I did put a couple lamps in here for her though, just because that's what she was requesting. So this is the third bedroom, the smaller one. I don't know if the mirror's not longer in there because it's so big. It took up so much space.
And the other mirror was just a closet, right?
Yeah, that's a closet.
Okay. All right.
And this is the common area. So everything is in the house was actually mine. That when I lived there, I moved with nothing. I just moved with my clothes. I was okay.
Now
with
I see a television in there, but you
Yep.
don't have cable, do you?
No, but they have access to my Netflix.
Okay, nice.
So there's all of that. There's a picture of the second bathroom. And this is a Jack and Jill bathroom.
Okay.
It actually goes, so this hallway right here is to the right here is that third bedroom. And then on this side is the other walkway. So nothing is like completely refurnished or anything. I didn't up or remodel anything before I moved. This is a view from the front door. Kitchen. And then there's that hallway. This is the master bath right here. It's pretty basic, and this is the master room, and these are queen size beds in the two rooms, and this is the closet.
And these are pictures of when you purchased the house, right?
These are what they are now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have locks on the room? On
Yes.
the doors?
Yep.
What kind of locks do you have? Is it just the combination ones?
They're keys. Yeah.
Oh, keys.
Which is another story. Oh my gosh. A couple of them have locked themselves out. I'm like, I gave you 3 sets. 3. Where are your spares? Oh, they're in the room. I'm like, okay, good. That's a good spot for them. You wouldn't believe it. And I offered to bring a locksmith and all this, and they're like, no, I'll just wait. So I did have somebody manage it. I don't have him manage it anymore. I just have like a handyman that I call if anybody needs. And here's more pictures of the backyard.
Nice.
When it's dirty. That's why I wanted to show the other ones, because they're nicer. I think that's the end.
All right. So you manage it with a handyman.
Yeah. So I had actually when I used to be in the clinic in Vegas, I actually had an athletic trainer. He was like my personal athletic trainer for my company. And I brought him on as just somebody he was going to PT school at the time. And so he needed extra money, and he had time. And so anything that I had, tenant walkthroughs, before they move in, move out. If I needed anything fixed, needed anything hung, tenant had lost their keys or whatever, he was there to kind of go, and just that he lived like not too far down the street. So I had him do that. Now he's pretty busy, and I was like, it's fine. I'll just kind of self-manage from here. But I have as far as like if anything goes wrong, I have what is it? The monthly homeowners policy. What is it?
Okay.
I'm blanking.
Okay. Do you have anyone in the house who acts as the I'll call them mother hen because I don't know what they do,
Yes,
what the title is.
definitely.
Someone who's, kind of call you or can be in charge of anything, or do you have to count on the tenants just to call you themselves?
Definitely a mother hen. Like I said, the one who like will go rake the backyard. She keeps the house clean. Like when I was there in June, and even when I had like my assistant like go and walk through and do all that, he's like, the house is spotless all the time. And I'm like, this is wonderful. But I do have a cleaning person that comes every few months to clean the house. I don't need it as often because the home is clean. They clean it themselves. They have a monthly chore list on the refrigerator. I was there and I saw, and it's like, this person does this on Mondays and Tuesdays. Like they did it themselves. I didn't do anything. I'm like, hey, you guys can manage, figure out who wants to take the trash out. Like this person takes it out on Fridays. Like they did it all. So I've left it up to them, and I haven't had any problems like at all. I think the fridge went out one time and that's it. And I had to hire my home warranty. That was the word I was looking for. My home warranty company come out and they replaced the part, and that was it.
Okay. That sounds pretty good that they're that responsible.
I know. I'm like, I got really lucky with this house. I don't know if I can, knock on wood, replicate it the next time around, but I feel like once we get a couple more under our belts, we're not going to do the same model. It's very unique. It just works because it's in an HOA, obviously.
Yeah. Because you don't want to touch HOAs. They can kick your tush.
I know. And so going forward, we'll definitely property management, things like that.
Okay. Talk to us about the home you're in.
Oh, okay. So the house that we're in now is Jonny's first primary residence, and we're on the hunt for another primary residence, but of course we're being pretty picky. So the timeline is very dependent on what we find. We're trying to get it creatively, of course, because we're both self-employed PTs, which makes it really hard to qualify for a nice house in Arizona. So that's slowing the process down, but we have a blueprint, a floor plan of everything of how we're gonna do this house. So it's a 3-2, 1,800 square foot, and it's in the middle of Central Phoenix, like a little bit south of the Biltmore. So it's very like 10 minutes from Children's Hospital or Phoenix Children's, not too far from Banner, 10 minutes from the airport. Like it's in a prime location right off of the 202. So we're hoping to convert it to a 5-bedroom. We had a floor plan from Ellis Tran, who is the pad split guy here in Phoenix, to do like a 7 and convert the 2-car garage into 2 more rooms. But I think we're like leaning towards the route of just making that into a complete studio. Because I connected with Kevin Cho's partner, Jez, I think is her name, and she converted multiple garages into studios and brings in like $1,800 a month as a midterm rental. And I was like, $1,800, like that sounds great, or 2,000 or whatever, and they're more long-term, just like that. So I'm like, instead of doing 2 rooms and making them really small and spending way more money and putting a bathroom out there too, because we only have 2 baths and one of them is the primary bedroom attached to that. So we'd have to do it at least another bathroom if we did 7 bedrooms. So we're going to do probably a 5-2 and then convert the garage into just a tiny little studio. Nice. And go from there.
Nice.
And no HOA, so we have that it's perfect. Plenty of parking. We have a ton of parking, and we can actually take out one of the sides of the driveway and put more concrete down and create even more parking in the space that we do have.
Okay. And I'm assuming that in the studio you're going to put in the bathroom. We
probably will, yeah. Which is probably going to be the same cost. I don't know the cost wise. But I think that the studio would probably be better than
correct, because
doing it separate.
If you still need another bathroom, okay, then the cost of the bathroom is the cost of the bathroom, right? And then in the garage, you'd have to divide it into 2 rooms and put in 2 doors and 2 different exits and this and that. So if you're doing it as a studio, you don't have to worry about those extra walls and stuff, and the bathroom is the bathroom. It's same cost. So it's probably 6 of one and 6 of the other, but may very well be cheaper to do a studio, and people will pay a little bit more to have their own wall.
Exactly. And that's what I was thinking for midterm rental for that, and then pad split the rest. But I don't know well, the lease agreement, right? But the membership agreement through the whole house, they like do the whole house, if I'm understanding that correctly, like the way that Sam does it.
Yes, yes, that's a good point. Imagine you could have the studio being one member that has their own space. I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see for sure.
Or we just do them separate, as this house stays a 3-2 midterm rental, and then the studio is a second midterm rental. So we have 2 midterm rentals in the one house. And the obviously the studio has its own entrance and things like that. And that's what I've seen Kevin Cho do. He converted a 5-3 into 3 midterm rentals in one house. And I'm like,
say again, he's converted.
He has one house in Florida that he did a YouTube video on this, and I went and saw him, and I was like, Kevin, how the heck did you do this? And he converted a 5-3 house into 3 whole units. Like they're all their own separate units. And I was like, genius. And I think probably the construction was probably a lot for that, because they made some of them, they had to put, you know, kitchens and things in. But I think they're cash flowing pretty good amount. I think it might be a little bit more than what a co-living would be.
Interesting. I hadn't, you know, I follow Kevin, but not like I follow Pace, and I hadn't seen that one. He's getting pretty busy, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. For sure. And so this is a house that you're looking to purchase, or that you're wanting to find?
Which one? The one that we're in now?
No, the one that you're describing into making into a studio. Is that
this is the one that we're in right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're open to both. We're just gotta obviously run the numbers when the time is coming, and we're on the hunt for the primary. So other than that, we have a buy box in terms of we're ready to buy another if the opportunity presents itself here in Phoenix.
Got it.
We've been looking in Charlotte as well, and we're open to obviously Henderson, Nevada as well. That's where the
Why
first
Charlotte?
That's our market that we wholesale in. So we're just like, hey, we kind of know it a little bit better. So we're looking at buying there. But like I said, it's not a priority. I would rather have one Phoenix and Henderson, because we really know the market and we can self-manage for the first couple and then expand from there.
What made you guys decide to go in wholesale in Charlotte?
I think we want to move there eventually. So I'm like, why not get to know the market? Not Charlotte specifically, we're just North Carolina. We wholesale in North Carolina.
I understand. That's very interesting. Going back for a second, when you were doing traveling, you know, for your PT assignments, have you thought about using some of the midterm rentals for that type of thing, for nursing or whatever you want to call it, medical?
Definitely. That's the population we would want to do for midterm, especially this house, because we're right next to Phoenix Children's and we're right next to Banner. And I think there's a third one. I just don't remember. I'm still new to Phoenix, but Jonny told me there's like 3 hospitals like right around this area within 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm like, we should only market to travel professionals, not just nursing, but you know, speech pathologists, PT, OT.
Yep. That does sound like it would have a very good potential for you for sure.
Especially as a midterm rental, because they're making so much money, they're willing to pay for something nice.
Yep. And or insurance companies. But yeah, since you're close to those hospitals, you should definitely take advantage of that. Do you have pictures you want to show us of your home that you're in now?
I wonder if oh yeah, I can just pull up a Zillow listing.
Yeah, show us what the property looks like and you know what your thoughts
are. It's brand new. He bought it brand new in 2020. Yeah.
Nice.
So let's look it up. What is it? Not sure. Oh, there it is.
Oh, and Nina asks, for your first one, where in Las Vegas is it?
It's in Henderson.
Okay.
So Vegas, Henderson is like Phoenix, Scottsdale. Okay, this is the one that we're in now.
Oh, it's nice.
So this is what I was talking, like over here, we could just convert to more
driveway
concrete. Yep. And all of the homes are being regentrified on this street. So right next to it actually is a duplex that they all rent out to. This one's completely remodeled. So the whole street is, you know, older. It's in Central Phoenix, but the house itself is brand new. So It's huge, and the floor plan is very unique because this is the front door right here. This is obviously a very skewed version. The house is very long. It's a big, huge rectangle, if you will. So this is the front door, and this is the living room. Then you have the dining, and then you have the kitchen. So this is where we'll put the 2 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
This is the laundry, and then this is the garage right here.
Okay.
There's the kitchen. It's big kitchen, plenty of room, plenty of
Nice.
storage. There's the garage, front door, first bathroom. And then the bathroom.
Is that the first bathroom or the main one?
That's the first bathroom, not
Okay.
the main. The main one's in the master bed. Okay, there's another view of the house. So we'd be able to put 2 here. The first one would have a window, and I think we'd probably have to put another window here. We thought about maybe even doing 3 and just keeping the island as somewhere to sit, but I don't think it'll work. Especially to give them enough space.
And you need to, yeah, well, it depends, right?
Mhm.
You'll know when you look at it more closely.
Bedroom 1, bedroom 2.
Mm-hmm.
These are the smaller rooms, and this is the master shower, which now has a glass door on it,
Nice.
and then master room here. And then that's the door to the patio.
Is the backyard, is it a size? Oh, nice closet.
Yeah, big closet.
Yep.
Yeah, this is all landscaped now, so
nice.
this was the move-in pictures, but yeah, it's pretty big.
Got it.
I mean, honestly, we could even add on. It's a big backyard.
Cool. Very cool indeed.
So this is our own that we have, but obviously we're definitely buying for more. And then obviously I was talking to you about our assisted living business that we're trying to buy right now as well.
Right. Before we get to that,
I
another
can talk
question.
about that for sure.
And Nina had asked it earlier. Sorry, Nina, I saw it and I didn't get to it. What home warranty company do you use?
I think it's American Home Shield.
Okay.
Yeah, they're great. I've only had to call them one time, and it was seamless, easy process. I think it was like $85 for them to come out, and that's it.
What about the rest of you who are doing investment properties? Do you guys have home warranty companies? Put a yes or a no in the chat so we get an idea. Jared says no, because I had wondered whether they would be worthwhile. And obviously it's working out with Courtney. What about the rest of you guys? Even if you're not near your computer, could you take a second and just take a look and see? All right. So Jimmy, you say no too. Okay.
I didn't have one for the first year, but then when I was like, you know what, it just makes sense if something big goes wrong that I don't have a huge reserve built up for this house, that if it's 1995, I'm like, if something goes wrong, I'm not paying for that. So I got like the highest plan. I think it's like $65 a month. So yeah, that cut into my cash flow, but it's like, that saves me the headache down the line for an older home.
Gotcha.
I could always cancel it. There's no contract. It's month to month. So
yep. Got it.
I'm not there. So.
And Jimmy wants to know, we have a guide. Jimmy says, Jim and Jimmy, guys, you can't post right next to each other. It's too confusing. All right. What is it called? Jimmy wants to know the home warranty plan you have. Oh, American Home Shield. Yeah, we said that. All right. So talk to us about moving into assisted living, because recently, I don't want to shock too many of you, but recently I've been thinking that in some ways. So talk to me about why you and Jonny are thinking that, and what are your thoughts?
Yeah. So we have been very interested in zero down. We absolutely identify with being business owners ourselves, as far as we both own our own separate physical therapy businesses. And so when Zero Down launched and we got to go to Pace's studio when he was filming it, I was like, Jonny, this is what we should do. We should buy businesses. Because we're so young, we don't really, obviously building generational wealth would be great. But to get the monthly cash flow that we're after to live the life that we want and be able to travel and do whatever, we're more so focused on monthly cash flow versus generational wealth that we can buy later. Like, just not right now. I mean, if we can do both, great. But like right now, I think we're after monthly cash flow.
Right.
So,
And I think also the word generational kind of means in some ways that you have to have kids.
right. I just like, I guess, long-term retirement wealth.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So that's what I meant to say.
Retirement wealth, you don't need kids. But
Yeah.
when you're talking about generational, multi-generational, a lot of times it's after you find out you're pregnant. You're like, oh my God, we got to start, you know,
Yeah,
saving for
exactly.
college.
Exactly. I like the idea of obviously saving for retirement and things like that. So we have 2 houses already, and I think we'll do that. You know, it's just not main priority. I'm like, I want to quit my job. I want a business to replace my income. So we were focused initially on businesses that were home services. So like property management, cleaning, things like that. But I was like, well, I'm not just going to stick with that because I don't know that area. So I'm like, we're both healthcare providers. Why don't we pick a business that we know, you know, like bread and butter, like we can figure things out if we need to. So I just started looking into assisted living. I watched Kate Kabuko's thing with Pace as the hot seat. And I was like, you know what? We should do this. So I started looking, and it is co-living, especially when it's a home.
It is. But it
home,
also
not a
it's a little
facility.
bit more than co-living because
Right.
co-living is independent, right? Like the people can
Right.
take care of themselves.
Exactly.
Assisted is exactly that. It needs assistance.
So yeah, and we wanted to do private. We're not interested in doing facilities, Medicaid, Medicare situation. We're not willing to go down the insurance route. It's a headache that I don't want to deal with.
When you say
So we're
private, do
looking
you
at
mean unlicensed?
no licensed still, but private pay.
Okay, gotcha.
So there's more upper class that are looking for higher services as far as what they're going to get in the home too.
Yes.
And we both did home health physical therapy, and going into some of these assisted living facilities, long-term memory care units, like the care is atrocious. Like some people really, really need very nice environments in order to thrive. Otherwise it's just going to go downhill from there. So we're like, it's kind of more like a passion for it now because we've seen the bad side of it. And then obviously the baby boomers, they're not going anywhere, right? They're retiring. They need to go somewhere. So I think like Jonny had some statistic the other day that like so many of them are going to be needing beds pretty soon. And there's not enough now, and there won't be enough in the future. So I'm like, this is it. Like, this is where we need to focus on co-living and for obviously healthcare provider travelers, as well as assisted living facilities. So we found this one, and it's here in Gilbert, and it's a 10-bed luxury home, and it's beautiful. We went and viewed it on Friday. Everything went really well. We just have to look at the financials now. But it's like everybody in the home is independent. They just need help.
Already assisted living?
Yes. Already.
And you said 10 bed?
They're licensed for 10, which is very like unique. I know most don't get licensed that much. So I'm like, we have to get this one. So we're just about to look into the financials a little bit more, send them to a CPA, talk to a few lenders because we're trying to figure out if we're going to do SBA loan or if we're going to try and raise some capital for it because it's a great opportunity. And the cash flow is like from what the financials have shown so far this year is about $25K a month. So a month. And that's net.
Oh, Courtney, honey, I love you, but I'm going to knock you off the air and I'm going to go running for that property you want.
It's not on the market. So good luck.
Sing.
I know. So we're trying to figure out a way to get it. And that's our next step. And then we're going to send out the LOI and go under due diligence and all of that. So, and we're stoked about the guy. He's like, I want to give it to somebody who knows healthcare. He's like, I had some bunch of investors come in and they're, slum lords and they're, they want to change this and change that. And he's like, I'm not looking for someone to change my business. I want someone to take care of my residents. And I'm like, I'll do that. I'll go play chess and checkers with them every day. I don't care.
Nice.
So
Very
I think
nice. Good for you.
This is our direction.
Very interesting to see your path, how it went from,
I know. All in a matter of like 2 weeks. It's insane.
I love it. I love it. I mustn't let this question go by. Sal wants to know, moving forward, will you be doing the lease or the member agreements for your, self-managed properties?
I think a member. I think this one is just, I had to get out of that house. I had to go travel. I had to do it was like a situation where I was like, I just need to get as creative as possible and get out of this house. And I did lease agreements, and I'm probably just going to stick with that. Also too, because it's an HOA and they make you within the HOA requirements, it says that you have to provide lease agreements. So I have those on hand. I've never sent them, but in case they ask for them, I can do that. Like, hey, these are actually my roommates, like that kind of situation. Yep. So from now on, definitely no HOA and definitely member agreements.
Right. Jared was talking about his dad, and it's not unusual that his father's paying $700-800 a month. I get that. And he's asking you, do you know if with 10 beds, do you need sprinklers?
Yeah. So when we were touring it, he's like, oh, just so you know, he was like, after everything was done and complete, this, like I don't know who the sprinkler company, I guess, like the fire marshals or something, I don't know, came through, and they're like, every room with a door needs a sprinkler system. He's like, by the way, that costs us a lot of money. He opened up all these closets, and every closet has a sprinkler. Every room it was insane. There's probably like 50 sprinklers in the house. So yeah, they did require all of that.
Tell us how you found this particular property and why are they selling?
Okay, so this is a great question. I had just been calling business brokers, and like I get on the zero down Zooms, and Alexis is like, just take action, just take action. I'm like, okay, great. I'm just gonna call brokers and develop relationships with them in case something comes up. So I called on one of this broker's listing. It's actually another private luxury 10-bed house here in Peoria. And I called, and the broker didn't answer. So I actually called the seller. I was like, I'm not doing this. The broker kept screening my call. It kept going to voicemail. So I called the broker, or the resident, and she looped me, or the owner, sorry, the seller, looped me back to the broker. The broker finally called me back, and I was supposed to set up a call with him about this one in Peoria. And he's like, she's not getting back to me. She's out of the country, but I have this other one. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. And he's like, it's the same thing. It's luxury. It's brand new. It's in Gilbert. And I was like, oh, tell me more. And so then we set up a seller call, and got on the call. And he told me initially, before I talked to the seller, he's focusing on his businesses in Colorado because he owns a home health company, and he staffs physical therapists and all these, he's very familiar with home health. And I'm like, so we just, like, when we first got on the call, I think there was just a great level of rapport built, because eventually that's not the reason he's selling. It's because his partner is going through divorce, and the wife is the attorney's coming for him as the business owner. And they, in case there's commingling funds between multiple businesses. So he's like, I need to sell the business ASAP before she comes and tries to dive into my business. And so he's on a time crunch. So we have to get him an offer within like the next week. Wow. He actually just messaged us today. He's like, I have another seller coming, or another buyer coming to look on Wednesday. They already approved of the business. He's like, but I won't commit unless I hear from you guys first. Because I think he really wants to give it to us, because everybody else going in are lowballing offers. They're not healthcare providers. They're not in the same field to be able to carry on his legacy of his story of why he built it. And he built it because his dad had Parkinson's, was treated very poorly, went home to home to home. And so he's very passionate about the field. And so I think he really just wants to give it to somebody who's like, I know you'll take care of this business.
Yeah, you're in the healthcare. It makes a difference. What does a property like that go for? The range?
He's listed for 1.8. The real estate's up around $1 million. We're definitely gonna have to get an appraisal done. We just quickly comped it, and it's probably comping around $1 million. So they're gonna be separate sales. And I say that because the real estate, they're willing to completely seller finance the whole thing. They don't need the money from him, and it's his partners. So he went into the deal with no money on his own. He just wanted to run the business and start the business. And so they want to walk away with the property, at least breaking even. They don't care to make money off of it. Apparently they're big investors. So they're willing to actually just keep they'll seller finance and keep the rent payment the same. And he only pays them $5,500 a month for rent, which is insane. When you're bringing in 61K a month is his cash flow. And then net is like around 25K after all the things.
Wow.
But
and he's
he's like, yeah, they're willing to just keep that right in place. And I was like, really? Like, are you sure?
Are you
It's a small
sure?
down payment.
Are you sure? I guess, yeah. Are you sure is
So
probably
then
appropriate.
so we'll seller finance the real estate. And then as far as the business itself, we'll have to do an outright sale on that. So we're either thinking SBA loan or private money partner, or just lending as far as the payment on that. But he said, I'm willing to discount this for the right buyer. And I think the business is, it's a multiple of 3, so it's around 700. But we're trying to, like I said, go into the financials. We're meeting with CFO Ben, which is Pace's CFO.
Yeah.
And he's gonna help us kind of figure out, what's the right way to offer it. Which, by the way, if you guys are in Zero Down and you haven't gone into the underwriting Zoom that he did, he has a software now that basically spits out, hey, this is what you should offer. This is a 0 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10 deal, any of that. And it's like really, really good. We did it for I'm gonna go off track, a wedding venue that we're trying to buy too.
A wedding venue?
I know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go down that route.
I don't know whether wedding venues are going to be as profitable as assisted living, because you're going to get a
No.
lot of baby boomers, right?
Exactly.
But
But yeah, I'll drop that link to his software, because we just talked about it the other day, and he's like, hey, like, if you talk to anyone Zero Down, make sure you mention my software. So there's
that's nice. That's nice.
so
Cool. That's good. Thank you for that.
So we're in this period. I'll update you all on the process if we will. I'm not gonna say if, we will get under contract.
Good.
Manifesting it.
Sounds pretty nice. So anyone have any further questions or thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting. We've touched on a lot of co-living, and also the edge of, multiple living, meaning assisted. Jared.
Yeah.
Hey, Courtney, if you're saying they're seller financing that 10 bedroom, are you worried about the divorce coming into play if they're seller financing the note back to you?
So we were thinking about that, but I don't know the stipulations on that side of things. I don't know how that's going to work, and how that process is going to be. I've never dealt with the seller finance situation and the divorce, and I know that can be sticky. I just don't know. We have a meeting tomorrow with somebody who's going to kind of help us walk through that situation and figure out if it is a wise investment, because the business loan will be ours. I just don't know about the real estate. So yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have any advice on that? Like, have you guys encountered a situation?
I think it would depend on how it was purchased.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, getting legal advice, looking at their contracts and everything is important, because you're going to put a lot of time and, your heart into it. So
I think more than anything, we can at least get an offer on the table. He can entertain the offer, and then we can go into due diligence and have our attorney come in and, go down that route and all of that. The thing is like the business partner, the owner of the home, the property, he is an attorney. So he's gotten so far that, the divorce has been happening for like a year or 6 months or something like that already. And so he's finding ways around things because he's an attorney and he knows all those things. So from the seller side of everything, the business owner, seller, he's like, it's pretty well secured right now. So I'm like, of course you're going to say that, you're the seller. So I just need to consult an attorney for sure. Yeah, I would agree with that, Melissa.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay.
I hope it works out, and I hope we get around it and doesn't come back on us or anything like that, because it can be sticky. And I don't want to be involved in that drama.
No, that would be very time consuming. Well, not to put you on the spot, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there any way that I could get you to, at least think on coming back after you guys have done the, the 3-2 to a 5? It'd be nice to see that. I hope you're taking pictures and that you're documenting it.
Oh, we will. We're trying to build our YouTube, so I'll definitely put a YouTube series up.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, but I don't have that many subscribers because I don't post on it.
Why don't you drop it in there and
Okay.
We've got, we're down to 18, but that's okay. We'll subscribe.
We're the REI docs on social
REI.
and YouTube.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Okay, guys, you see it in there. Please do support her and Jonny by subscribing. When you do this sort of stuff, Courtney, oh, that's so sweet. You guys look so cute. By the way, remember what I said to Jonny about, he said he looks Greek. And what I said, okay, I take it back.
He looks Greek, huh?
Yeah, he does look Greek in the good way. In the good
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
So, for sure. When you're doing that, Courtney, I highly recommend that you put together just a PowerPoint presentation on what the house is bringing you in now. What are all the costs and what did it cost you to convert? And then, what happens after, so that you're going to know it intuitively. We're going to feel it, but showing your numbers will just help you to get ready to do a pitch deck, for anything.
And that's what we have been trying to work on as far as like future projects too, because we definitely want to bring in partners for co-living, like for scalability, because definitely Jared and I have talked, Jonny and Jared have talked
about bringing in partners,
partnering together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good. Well, Jared is a really good guy. Highly
Yeah,
recommend him.
we're excited. We're definitely going to document the whole journey. We're trying to so far on YouTube. We're just time to make YouTube videos is a lot of time.
I know.
So,
all right. Any last
all right.
comments? We're just getting ready to head out here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you.
I hope my creativity of the house that I did inspires you guys to like think about it that way too. I mean, even looking into an HOA, like you can rent out rooms still or have rentals in HOAs. You just can't,
I adore you, Courtney.
Yeah.
And I think what you did is great, but I am unconvinced. I don't like HOAs unless
I know
own enough properties that I can rule the world.
Yeah. Maybe my HOA is super lax. I've never heard a word
possibly,
from them.
but they could switch, so that's the negative
that's
thing.
true.
But anyhow, thank you everyone. And we shall see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.